What is up, everybody? Welcome back to another Stay Hot live stream featuring myself and Theo. Matt is sick today. His immune system has failed him, so we decided it would just be the two of us. So keep Spawn Hour in your thoughts and prayers as he recovers from his ailment.
A lot of people don't know this. Matthew Spano is a staunch anti-vaxxer, and he constantly rails against the deep state in our group chats. So, jokes on him for getting sick.
Jokes on him. While Matt was out getting sick, I was out getting sick with my routes.
Yeah, you've been posting a lot of routes, and we're just at the field. What are you training for? Why are you saying
I mean the flag football season, that's coming up.
You don't go, what, 0-5 again or whatever you did last year?
No, we're gonna have a real quarterback this time throwing us the ball. So
one?
Yeah, we're not like a real one, but like someone who will actually throw the football instead of running every play. So no, it's not me. I'm the receiver. I gotta catch the ball. Right. They need someone out there that has got that T. Higgins type of ability.
Matt's not here. We can say that we're allowed to say that.
Matt's the biggest Clemson hater I've ever met in my life.
It's based though. Dabo Swinney is who I hate.
Hating Dabo Swinney is super fair.
I have no issue with Clemson as a school.
But Dabo,
I have no issue with any school really. But anyway.
Well, fuck Michigan, bro.
U of A, you know.
U of A can.
They're not really relevant in the college football scene. So we are looking at the top 100 list. Going to be reacting to every player.
So it's up until 20 right now? Is that right?
Yeah, I think Joe Burrow at 21 is as far as they've gotten.
Okay.
But yeah, I guess we'll just get right into it. We got Kyle Juszczyk at number 100, which to me is fine.
Yeah, it's like the guy you're putting at 100, I think is just a matter of like, I don't know. I feel like you could put a lot of guys here.
If I'm going to put Justin Tucker at 5, and now that Matt's gone,
right,
we can push our Justin Tucker narratives in peace. If I can't get mad at Juszczyk, and I honestly probably should have had him on my list because he's been a very, very good fullback for a long time and the top guy at his position for a long time. So,
yeah, Juszczyk in the top 100, I can get behind
overlooked. But for the same logic that if you're clearly the best kicker in the league,
right,
for a long time, you should be ranked like any other position. If you are clearly the best fullback in the league for a number of years, and clearly the most productive fullback, I think that you deserve to be recognized a little bit. And I'm fine with him here at 100.
Yeah, I don't have any problems with it. Like the 100th guy can be a lot of different guys. I put Lamar Jackson and Derrick Henry at 199 just because injuries last year. But I was like, they were still so dominant while they were on that you got to have them. So you could do that for pretty much anyone.
I agree. So Cousins passes this test. Not Cousins. Juszczyk. Cousins is next. Juszczyk gets the thumbs up. Next we've got Cousins at 99.
This is right. I don't know. I don't hate it. The only reason I disagree is they put Cousins here at 99, but then they put Mac Jones at 85, which is we'll get to that in a minute. But Cousins was a productive quarterback last year. I think he had 33 touchdowns, 7 picks. So it's that's high level efficiency. So I understand it from that perspective. And I'm sure he has a lot of that he's garnered a plenty amount of respect throughout the league. But I kind of feel like he either has to be higher or he has to not be on this list at all. That's kind of where I feel
Mac Jones is definitely a question mark, but that's more of a Mac Jones placement
problem. Right. And that's the thing is we'll get to Mac Jones in a minute, but I'm bro, either Kirk Cousins, I feel is better than Mac Jones. So I'm I'm either Kirk Cousins either needs to be higher on this list, top 80 maybe, or not on this list at all, in which Mac Jones would also not be on this list. But I think that's a different discussion about Mac Jones.
When you look at what he did last year, I think that it warrants a top 100 spot. He was pretty efficient. Avoided sacks for the most part behind a pretty bad offensive line. Yep. I think like he is a very high level system quarterback. He is like Goff a little bit on steroids, or Jimmy G on steroids, where you trust him a lot more than those guys, but at the same time, their limitations outside of structure are still the same. And he's someone that's not going to be super aggressive, and he's not he's going to maybe, if one side of the field isn't working out, it's checked down right away, and not I'm going to create something or check the other side. So there's definitely some limitations to Cousins, but when you look at the season he just had, putting him at like the bottom end of the top 100, I'm not mad at it. When you look at some of the guys who are missing, like Terrell is not going to be on this list, and that's so sad.
Oh, I didn't even realize. Yeah, Terrell's not on this list.
Going to be on this list, and that's so sad. So like, there's guys I would rather have on here. But overall, I'm not upset.
Fair enough. Number 98 is David Montgomery. I don't even know, how did David Montgomery even do last year?
He's all right. To me, he's not a top 100.
I don't know if he's top 100, but like,
he's not a game changer. He's all right. He's like a good running back, but to me, there's no way. He had 225 attempts for 849 yards, 3.8 yards per carry, and 7 touchdowns. Yeah,
that's legit bad.
Yeah, and he wasn't playing behind a great offensive line, and he's a good tackle breaker, but you know, he's not a game-changing running back, and there's guys at different positions who are better players, in my opinion, than David Montgomery. Again, I'm going to go back to like Terrell. I don't think Creed Humphrey is going to be on here. There's
probably running backs. There's probably just running backs better than him that aren't on this list.
I don't know if there probably are. I'm trying to think. I don't think Aaron Jones or AJ Dillon are on this list.
Is Zeke?
They're both better, and they were both better last year. Zeke, I can't remember if he's on the list or not. But like, I don't know. There's a lot of players that I think were better than David Montgomery last year. There are a couple. Kenny Clark, I don't think he's going to be on this list either. That's disgusting and horrible and horrifyingly bad. There's a couple Packers who aren't going to be on this list that are like, Jair isn't, but if it's based on last year, I guess that's fair. But Clark not being on here is tough.
There were only 3 running backs last year to have, or there were only 3 running backs in the top 100 of carries last year to have fewer touches than David Montgomery. They were AJ Dillon, who like is the backup more or less. James Conner, but James Conner also had 15 touchdowns. So like I'll give you kind of a pass for that. And I put him on my top 100, but I put him, pretty low. And then the other one was Sony Michel. So and I think only James Conner is the guy that can even kind of deserve a top 100 spot. And you can argue that he did. I mean, you can argue that, but I'm like, bro had 15 touchdowns. Like I'll give you that.
Leonard Williams, this is a part where it's like, if it's based on last year, he wasn't that good. I mean, even the description you're looking at right here, he didn't miss a game, but he did have only 14 quarterback hits compared to 30 last year, and 6.5 sacks. That's 5 down from last year. I actually think last year he could have been a little bit higher. I think he was pretty great last year.
He was.
This year his pressure rate was low, his sacks were low. Just not a great year, and so
I mean there were
solely based on last year, even like top 100 players in the league overall, regardless of last year. I think Leonard Williams misses the cut. That's right.
There were a lot of trade rumors for Leonard last year.
Yeah.
So, but I don't know. Is DJ Reader on this list?
No, he's not going to be.
That's not okay.
Reader, Danico Autry, I believe.
Yeah.
The Titans should be on here over him. There's a couple like big
I
DA.
Simmons definitely made it.
Simmons made it, but Autry had more pressures than even Simmons last
Did
year.
he?
Like
I
Autry
didn't know
was
that.
really certified, and he's not going to be on here. I think he had a better year than Leonard Williams. I don't think Vea's going to be on this list, who is a pretty glaring omission. And yeah, it's a bunch of guys who I think should be a hero over Leonard Williams. I don't think that one's valid. Jimmy Ward, I don't hate it. Pretty good player.
Yeah.
96. He's, I mean, yeah, he's pretty good. I'm trying to
The
think
the
of other safeties who deserve it more. Amos, I don't think is going to be on this list. Who he could be. Maybe I'd put him in over
I'm
Ward.
trying to
But
think.
I don't know.
Von, I kind of think that like Von Bell was kind of underrated last year. Like Jesse Bates kind of had a down year, but I think Von Bell did a decent job of stepping up.
Yeah, I don't know. I think they're all in about the same tier. I wouldn't put Von Bell above Jimmy Ward. Amos, I'd say, is like same tier. I'm not mad at Ward over Amos. I think they're both kind of underrated safeties. At 96, the gap between them and someone who just missed the cut is not big.
Right.
If someone like Buda Baker missed the cut, if someone like Quandre Diggs missed the cut, if someone like, I'm trying to think what other safeties I had in my list. Is Minkah Fitzpatrick going to be on this list? I hope so.
There's no way.
Well,
there's no
that
way.
he's not, or that he is.
I don't think so. I think a lot of people are gonna. Actually, he might. If who did we just look at for the Giants?
Leonard Williams.
Yeah, if Leonard Williams is going to be there, Minkah might. I can't remember if he is.
Minkah should be on here, absolutely. I can't remember. If
he's a fantastic player. It's just he was
so fucking dirty.
Well, because he just wasn't, because it's like the PFF thing with like coverage grades is like if they're in a zone, it's really hard for them to like grade that. And so it always comes out wonky.
PFF grades, like they don't know ball.
Yeah, they're like, oh well, he was the closest defender. It's like, yeah, but that wasn't his job.
That's what they do. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like
I literally did a video on this that's on this channel about Minkah, and like the first game against the Bills, I said he played like trash, and he's actually quite good. And there were plays where like he was supposed to be the flat defender in cover 3. He was supposed to get the flats, and he didn't get the flats, and there was a reception there. PFF is like, negative play for Minkah, which I guess makes sense. But like what they don't take into account is the fact that like Devin Bush is out here running the wrong assignment. Minkah is like literally looking at him like, what are you doing?
Right.
And then he goes and does what Devin Bush is supposed to do because Devin Bush messed it up. And then like he can only be wrong, you know? So he's trying to
right. And it's like the argument there is like, oh, well, if you're Minkah, just do your job. Don't worry about Devin Bush.
But that's bad from him too, you know? Like,
yeah, right.
If you
like
watch the video, you see that it makes more sense for him because like in the progression of the quarterback's eyes, like the next progression would be Devin Bush's hole or Devin Bush's zone. So he's hoping that like taking that maybe gives the pass rush like an extra half second to get there. Like you'd rather go inside than outside because if he's reading it inside out, like you want it inside to be accounted for, and then maybe like in that 1/2 second the pass rush can get there. But anyway, CeeDee Lamb too low for me. I think CeeDee Lamb is really good.
I love. I don't remember where I put CeeDee on my top 100, but I know he was much higher than this. I think I had him. I might have had him near the top 50. Which I mean, CeeDee's an awesome receiver. He can do so much for your offense. So I mean,
I think he's a better player than even his production.
Absolutely. No, I agree.
His body control is out of this world. Great.
You compared him to Jerry Rice, so
he looks like Jerry. He plays like Jerry Rice. I think that he's like, in terms of like look and just kind of play style.
Pull up a picture of Jerry Rice and see if it matches this one on the
body type. I don't know. Like, well, I think actually, one sec. I figured this out after I made
player profiler.
Let's see, one sec.
Is this that? I think I know it. Yeah,
this comparable Jerry Rice.
Oh, I didn't even know that. That's crazy.
I didn't know that either, and then I like looked it up. But he's the same height, he's the same weight, he's got the same build. The body, he wins with body control. Yeah, I think he should be higher.
And people called you crazy for saying that too.
I mean, yeah, it is a little bit crazy to say like, oh, he's like Jerry Rice. But anyway, we got to keep moving along. Justin,
yeah, we're going real slow. Justin Tucker. We've already talked about Justin Tucker.
We've already talked about Justin.
Way too low. Way too low.
Way too low. 6 straight All Pros. Literally a GOAT kicker at the peak of his powers. To me, yeah.
No, he's him.
You get a GOAT candidate playing at the peak of his powers. Who else fits that description in the NFL right now? It's like Donald,
Aaron Donald,
Rodgers, Brady. It's not that many guys. It is not that many guys. We're talking about. I have a question for everybody who like disagrees with the Justin Tucker ranking. What would you rank him in Madden?
He's a 99.
He's a 99, right? So if you're gonna rank him a 99, which you should, because he is a 99.
Right. I think in Madden he's only like a 91.
The top 10.
I think he's only a 91.
Players. Like, right? If everyone understands that he should be a 99 in Madden, and if he's a 99 in Madden, that's a top 10 player in the league, right? There's not 10 99s. He might be a top 3 player in the league.
I'm looking this up. I'm pretty sure that he's only a 91.
Which is stupid. He should be like, you can't be a better kicker than he is. He's the most accurate.
He's a 90. He has 99 kick power and 99 kick accuracy, but they made his awareness 77. So he's lower.
They got Matt making these grades, but yeah, he's easily a 99. And if you're gonna like recognize that he's a 99 overall, he's a maxed out player at his position. Like, you should also recognize that he's a top player in the league. Like, people should follow that logic. But I guess
I get behind
Matt doesn't, because he thinks the next kicker should be. I don't know. I don't even. Anyway, Von Miller at 93. I think this is a good ranking for him. That was like right where I put him on my list.
Yeah, I mean, I put him a lot higher, just because I thought that playoff impact. Like, I don't think the Rams get to the Super Bowl, let alone win it without him.
I agree.
So I gave a lot of precedent to playoff performances this year, which maybe I shouldn't have. But I thought he was fantastic, in the playoffs, and
he was really good, and he was great.
I mean, he led the playoffs in everything.
Yeah, he was really good down the stretch. Yeah, he still got real juice off the edge. He was great against the run. I do think he lost about a half a step in against as a pass rusher, but it's pretty hard not to, considering.
Yeah, he's 32.
Him and JJ Watt are the two best I've ever seen in their primes, off the edge, and then Khalil Mack probably number 3, and Donald obviously. Those are probably like the best guys I've ever seen, and then Garrett and Watt. Maybe.
Yeah, I was gonna say don't disrespect Wiles Wear It.
Yeah, prime dude, 20 the best. Yeah, but anyway, I think 93 is a pretty good ranking for 32-year-old Vaughn or whatever. The only issue is that you can't have Tucker at 5 and no other 2 kickers on the list. Guess what? I had another kicker on the list, and
but you only did that despite Matt. You only did that.
I literally think Butker also deserves to be there.
I mean, Butker's great.
He also consistently has done it. But yeah, this whole Matt thing where he's like, what? You can't only have one special teams guy on the list.
No other special teamer would be a 99. Would Juszczyk be a 99? Would Juszczyk be a 99? No.
Cordero Patterson should be like a 99 kick returner, but so I guess you can make the argument about that. But Tyron Smith 92. Once again, I think this is valid. That's about where I had him.
He did miss some games this year, so I'll.
Really good left tackle. Yeah, he missed some games this year and last year and the year before that and the year before that.
So I'll give some slack for that. But man, when he's on the field, I mean, I was talking to some Cowboys fans, and they were like, "Bro, I mean, when he's not on the field, our O-line is like visibly worse. Like it's so much worse without him."
He's a great left tackle. He hasn't played a full season since 2015, though. You see it in the description. It's tough to say someone's
yeah.
When you're gonna you're basically guaranteed to not have him available, and you're gonna need a backup for about 4 games, and that's true for Tyron Smith at this point. So
yeah,
I think
I get
that's
it.
fair. I think that's fair injury tax. Kyle Pitts at 91 breaks my heart.
I think I'm pretty sure I had him higher than this. Kyle Pitts is really good.
I legitimately think he could be like the best football player
Yeah, I had him at 76, and that might have even been a little too low. But I mean, Kyle Pitts is out of this world. He can just make so many plays. I mean, he's literally like 6'10".
Yeah, he's 6'7". He catches everything. He's runs like a 4.4.
Yeah.
I mean, he's a decent blocker. He's just crazy. He's a crazy athlete. There's just no one. The list of guys who are just that much like head and shoulders above their peers as athletes. Again, it's like him and Donald to me. Like Pitts and Donald are two guys where I'm like, I kind of think they're kind of like Kelsey is, and there are other tight ends who are in the conversation, like or even above
Yeah.
Pitts as tight ends. But in
But
terms of like
Kelsey and
athleticism,
Andrews and Kittle, I think are the
in
three.
terms of like athleticism, Pitts is like in a class by himself to me. And
I mean, you're not wrong.
Yeah, and like Tyreek, I think you could put Tyreek Hill in that category as well, where he's just kind of like a kind of a tier above the next guys in terms of like athleticism and in terms of like what he unlocks. So Pitts is the closest thing we have to Calvin Johnson. I would agree. I really would.
That's not a bad take at all.
6'7", 4.3, crazy catch radius. It really is. It really is true. It really is true. Free him.
Free him. So number 90 is
all right. Next chunk of time. Odell at number 90. This is a little high for my taste, even though I am a huge Odell lover. I don't mind him getting respect at all. If this is based completely on last year, he had a great playoffs. The regular season where he was not like a top wide receiver during the regular season. I do think that he kind of looks like flashes of old Odell in the playoffs, but if this is based just off last year, it was a pretty small stretch of games where he was like whoa, this is a high end wide receiver. So to put him at 90 over a guy like Terry McLaurin or something like that.
Is Terry not on the list?
I don't think Terry is on the list now.
That's wild. That's wild, bro.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I would take DJ Moore, I would take Metcalf, I would take Terry.
Yeah, they're guys, and I love Odell, and I'm so happy he got a ring, and I still think that he can be a good wide. He was really good last year. He really was, but to have him over some of these other guys.
Is Deontay Johnson on this list?
Don't think so.
Damn.
Yeah. Marshawn Lattimore, I think he could be a little higher.
Marshawn, good corner.
Yeah, he's kind of inconsistent, but I mean, you trust him against number ones, one-on-one, man-on-man. Like, not a lot of teams have a guy that you really like, oh, this guy can go toe-to-toe with the best in the league, and he's capable of just shutting them down. It's a tough corner matchup when you've got Marshawn Lattimore. He is a little more inconsistent than someone like Jalen Ramsey or maybe Jair.
Right.
But I think
even Surtain. I think Surtain was a little bit better than him last year.
Yeah, maybe. Surtain I think could be on this list.
Lattimore.
I think that this is a bit low for him, but
maybe. I mean, I think the thing we have to remember about like the NFL Network Top 100 is that it's mostly a top 100 most respected players. And then there's also like, did you see the tweet? I think it was by Andrew Whitworth. And he was like, this list has always been garbage. Like not even everyone votes on it. So I think that's another thing we have to take into consideration is like, who's actually voting on this list?
Yeah, I'd be very interested to know exactly how transparent it is. I have a theory that some of these players are not decided by the players. I have a theory
like
that
you think it's like
guys
owners
are sprinkled in there because think about it. The players have 20 spots on the ballot. They've got 20 spots. There's probably 10 players, 15 players maybe. Probably 10. We'll say 10. That every player has on that list. Like every player should have Jonathan Taylor, Watt,
right,
Garrett.
yeah,
like a couple of them.
Donald.
And so, yeah, so there's like honestly like 10 spots that are up for grabs. A lot of them go to teammates. So really it's like as far as the guys in like the bottom half of this, I think all it would take is like one high vote for them
No,
to like
literally.
get on the list.
Literally,
Or a
one.
couple high votes. But anyway,
Yeah. No,
Jonathan Allen should be higher. He was amazing. He was fantastic last year.
No, he was so good. I literally said, I'm pretty sure I said like in my video about him that like outside of like Cam Hayward and Donald, Jonathan Allen was probably the best interior defensive lineman last year.
Don't think that's a bad take. I think like after Donald, he could be, if you put him number 2, I'd be like, all right. He was fantastic last year. He was incredible. I think he should be higher.
I can't remember where I had him. I'm trying to.
I had him.
I think I had him too low. Even
I think I had him in the 60s. I think I had him.
I had him at 63.
Ward at 87. I think that's pretty good. Could maybe be a bit higher.
I think that could be higher. Denzel, and part of this was like I made the take that like the Browns should have traded Denzel last year, and then he like, you know, he had the pick 6 against the Bengals, and you know he was locking down number 1s. So like I give him a lot of credit for like our defense being salvageable when it got up to a very rocky start. So I don't know. I think
always too quiet.
Theo always too quiet.
There we go. How about now, idiots?
You're much louder.
Okay.
Blaiden, when's the next road to glory? I have a new we're not doing lives anymore for the Madden and NCAA stuff. It's gonna be a YouTube series. And I don't know what exactly that. I don't know if it'll be a road to glory or a face of the franchise or just like a franchise mode or something. I don't know. We'll see. But I'm brainstorming some ideas. First one will be out not this Saturday, but next Saturday. So
I don't think Shaq Barrett at 86 is a horrible take. I didn't have him on my list.
I don't think,
but he's been productive for a long time. I don't hate it. Yeah, don't mind.
Good player.
Yeah, good player. 86 is fine. I would maybe put him a bit lower, but it's not really a big deal.
All right,
Mac Jones at 85 is silly.
This is ridiculous. This is dumb. This is where we're like.
That's what I mean. Where it
would take one high, and that's like if the Patriots are voting on this, right? They're putting Mac Jones high. Like any Patriots player that votes on this list is putting Mac Jones.
Right,
like
that's
top
the
10.
answer. Is like Patriots players gave him a lot of respect. I bet, and he had a good rookie year. He really did. To me, I think like when I look at the quarterbacks, the first round or the second year quarterbacks who are relevant, Mills, Fields, Wilson, Jones, Lawrence, Lance.
Right.
I ranked them in terms of my confidence going forward. Lawrence, Lance, Jones, Fields, Wilson, Mills.
Oh, you have the least confidence in Mills? I didn't.
Mills is like, we'll see, dude. I mean,
Mills to me is like, okay, like think about like Washington Kirk Cousins. I think that's where my mind goes to with Mills.
That's not a horrible take, and I really think that he could carve out a nice career. I mean, he's accurate, got some decent arm strength, decent placement. I saw him layer some throws, threw guys open, threw with decent anticipation. There were some nice moments for sure. And I think like last year, especially when so many rookies were bad, he was definitely one of the better ones. But in terms of like projecting the future, there were a lot of plays like third downs where there was a guy open and he didn't hit the guy open. And if you look at his average target on third down,
that's a Kirk Cousins thing to do. Like
it is a Kirk Cousins thing to do. So I guess that's not horrible. And maybe I would bump him above Zach Wilson, who like I really don't think is him.
And like I would put him above Fields just because like, bro, the Bears haven't done anything to help him out.
Yeah, and Fields has kind of looked bad this preseason, sadly.
And even if he did
Anyway,
like look
Mac Jones
okay, it's
was
just
a
it's
nice
hard.
rookie. That's what
He
going back
was.
around to this. He was good. New England's offense is very like it's not a Shanahan look where it just is like you're just an extension of the coach. All right, just hit the things in the flat and Yak will
Right.
go. No, they've got control at the line of scrimmage, and they have to read out full concepts a lot. I mean Brady was there for a long time, and they didn't change up that much.
Right.
It's a lot on the quarterback and having a high IQ and being accurate and getting the ball out with good timing. It's pretty difficult for a quarterback to pull off, and Mac Jones did a decent job of it. But 85 is too high. 85
It
is
is.
too high.
I mean, there's like the thing about like Belichick with his. Did you hear about like how Belichick originally would like teach Brady offensive concepts, like passing concepts would be like he would just show him like his defense. Just like, well, this is how I would guard this, right? So this is
Yeah,
how we're gonna beat how I would do it. And I
yeah,
thought
that
that
sounds like
was,
something.
I
That's a
think
good
that's
idea.
it is a good idea. I like that a lot.
Any rookie or second year quarterback is looking bad behind that Bears offensive line. Here's my take. The Bears offensive line is not as bad as people say it is. And people are going to give
It's bad.
Fields. Okay. It's not good, but it's not like horrible. It's not like the Bengals last year. One sec. Let me read off these players. They're okay. Braxton Jones, that's bad. That's a bad starter. Cody Whitehair, he's a good starter. All right, he's fine.
Yeah.
Lucas Patrick, he was on the Packers last year.
Okay.
He's solid. Tevin Jenkins at currently listed at right guard. That could be a little rough.
Here's my
Riley
problem.
Reef, okay player. 3 of those 5 are like okay players.
My problem isn't even like the quality of players, but they haven't had a single guy like sustain the same offensive line position for more than like a week at a time. Like you mentioned that Tevin Jenkins is listed at right guard right now, but he was in their preseason game in Seattle, he played like everything except for center, I'm pretty sure. So it's like it's like it doesn't it's
that could be true.
That's gonna be a huge problem. It's like it doesn't matter if they're like they could have like prime Joe Thomas and the whole greatest offensive line of all time, but if Joe Thomas is playing center and you got Alex Mack out there at left tackle, it's gonna be bad.
Anyway, yeah. I mean, it's not a good offensive line. I just think like sometimes with young quarterbacks, 100% of the blame goes on everyone else.
Right.
With Tua, oh, it's everyone else's fault, says Dolphins fans. With Fields, oh, it's any time he messes up, it's 100% everyone else's fault. Even like Burrow's rookie year, when he didn't hit any deep shots, right? He didn't hit any deep shots his rookie year, not one. And everyone is like, it's just the offensive line. It's just the offensive line. And then the next year, when Burrow grew and developed as a player, behind an offensive line that still sucked, he was able to hit deep shots. So it wasn't completely the offensive line, Like, and Herbert, his rookie year, had a horrible offensive line. And he was still able to make things work. So it's not, I'm just saying, like, you cannot complete, like, if and when the receiver room, now that's a different story.
Yeah, the receivers are disastrous, dog.
The receivers are pretty bad, but the offensive line, like, not every time Fields is under pressure. Like, yeah. Anyway,
right, 84.
Roquan Smith, 84. I like the ranking. I think I had him at like 78. That's close enough.
Yeah, 84 is fine.
Yeah, pretty good. Wyatt Teller,
too low. Wyatt Teller's
this is a little
Wyatt
low.
Teller's too low.
He's a really good run blocker, but he's not as good as Bitonio in my opinion.
No, I ranked Bitonio higher. Bitonio is the best guard in football. Bitonio is
clear, sadly.
I had Zach Martin close behind, but to me, Bitonio's the best. I had
6'4".
I had Wyatt Teller at 40. And maybe that's like my Browns bias, but like, bro, he's a devastating run blocker.
Yeah, I think I had him in like 50, and then I think I had like Bitonio at 40. I think that's how I did it. This is a little bit low, and I think they're low on a lot of linemen.
Well, yeah, that's gonna that's gonna happen.
Kenny
Except for like
Moore,
Trent Williams.
yeah. Kenny Moore is
I think
I don't
this
think
is
he should be on this
no.
list.
I was about to say I do not.
When AJ Terrell isn't here and Surtain isn't here,
Yeah,
sorry, I'm giving him the slot corner tax. Um, he's a good player. He's definitely a nice piece. But to me, for him and Justin Simmons to be like right next to each other, like Justin Simmons is like, to me, Kenny Moore is like a nice piece. He's a really good player, a nice piece. But Justin Simmons can be like the centerpiece of a whole
right.
secondary, and I don't think Kenny Moore is quite that tier.
Yeah.
I would even argue that Kenny Moore might not even be the best corner on his own team with Gilmore there. I might say that.
Oh, okay.
So I think that that's a little bit high for Kenny Moore. Not like he's a good player and all, but
Yeah.
like he
I
should be like
didn't put him
a ton
on
of
my I
stars.
wouldn't have put Justin
Um,
Simmons. You know,
I
I
think that
don't.
this is way too low. I think that he's incredible.
He is
Like last,
incredible,
if
but
he was
like
last year 45, he should be like the same tier this year. He was really good again. I think he led all safeties and picks. Um,
I don't think he did
I think he did lead all safeties and
this
picks. He had a
year.
bunch. Yeah, I think he did. He was really productive again. He's one of the best safeties in the league against. He has great ball skills. He might be the best safety in the league against the run. He's
He
an
was
incredible, incredible
tied. He
player.
was tied with
Byard.
he was tied with Poyer, Hyde, and Byard. They all had
All right.
5.
Well, that's still a lot.
And McKinney and Quandre Diggs. They all had 5.
Okay. Well, 5 is a lot. 5 is a
5 is
lot.
a lot. 5
And he
is
had
a
5
lot.
last, like 10
I
picks in
didn't
2 years
okay.
for his safety.
I didn't know this until like, bro, the corner for Detroit, Amani. I don't know how to pronounce his last
Amari,
name.
I had to pronounce his name for a video. It's like
Bro, I
Amari
have no idea how to
Owusu.
pronounce it. Bro, he had 6 picks last year.
Yeah, he had a nice amount. If Diggs didn't have his whole thing, he would definitely get a lot more respect.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, the last 3 years, Justin Simmons has made 2 second-team All-Pro teams and a Pro Bowl nod. Over the last 3 years, he has had 14 interceptions in 3 years, and over that time, he has had 27 plus 9. That's 36 passes defensed in 3 years. That's ridiculous. Those are some ridiculous numbers for a safety. I think he's super, super great. So yeah,
I mean, he is awesome, and I still have.
I think I ranked him as the second best safety in the league. But I think I went him. I think I went. What did I do on my list? I had Derwin 1. And then I think I may have had Simmons 2, and then Minka, and then Byard.
I put Hyde and Poyer. Hyde and Poyer are kind of my 2. Like together, they're the best safety in football, and apart, they're like I think the 4th or 5th probably. Because I gave Kevin Byard the best safety season last year.
I don't think that's a bad take either. He was really good.
He was truly the centerpiece of Tennessee.
Yeah,
of Tennessee's defense.
Yeah, he was really good. Yeah, I have Derwin, and then I have Simmons, Minka, and then Byard. Those are my top safeties. And then
it's pronounced Urawarie.
And then I had Poyer, Urawarie. And then I had Poyer, and then I had Quandre Diggs, and then I had Micah Hyde, and then Budda Baker, and then Marcus Williams. That's how I rank the safeties in my top 100.
Who's number 80?
Who's number 80?
We got to go back to the top.
Is Justin Simmons a PFF hated player? I feel like I feel like they always disrespect him.
It's hard. Again, it's like safeties, right? Safeties are the ones that they always seem to fuck up a little bit with because they're always in zone, right? Yeah, like, I think corners you can get right because it's like, oh, did he get beat? or not.
Right.
But
Yeah,
like,
and man coverage, did he give up a reception or not? James Conner at 80 is bad. Like I've gone from like a when he was getting so hated on last year, and like when he got left Pittsburgh, people were acting like he was the worst running back in football. He got signed to a $1 million contract, and I was like, dude, he breaks so many tackles.
yeah,
Like he's in a good situation in Arizona. I drafted him in fantasy and told
and he had
everybody
a
to draft him
shit
in
ton of
fantasy. Like
touchdowns.
I was a James Conner like defender last year, and now it's like, dude, he is not the 80th best player. Like he is not the type of running back that Justin Simmons is at safety, you know. So
No, I'll give you
yeah,
that.
there's a bunch
I
of
put him at
players that I think
90.
are better than James Conner that are not on
I put
here.
him at
So
90. I put him in the same, like I put him and Najee Harris like back to back. So like,
yeah, goal line touchdowns just don't really move me. Like you might look at him and be like, oh, he had 20 touchdowns. Like yeah, and so did Eckler, who's like ridiculously high on this list. But like, okay, you punched it in from inside the
The Eckler
5.
dick riding is a little bit out of hand. It's a little bit out of hand.
He's a good player
He
too.
is a
Like I
good
don't
player,
mind if
but
he was on this list. Like if Eckler was at like 80, I'd be like, all right, you know, that's fine. He's
yeah,
like the 10th or 11th or 12th best running back in football, I'd say. So like if he's at like 80, it's fine. But like putting him above, I just don't think he's like that special of a pure runner. Um,
fair
he
enough.
punches and he's a good receiving back. He's pretty slippery, but he's not like he's not anything too crazy to me. But
Yeah.
anyway, James Conner is too high.
Next
He's simply
is
too high. He punches like just because you punch it in from the 5 like a million times doesn't mean that you're like this total game changer. I'm sorry. Like, oh, he led the league in touchdowns. Yeah, he caught them all from inside the 5. Like he punched it in from the 5. He's the goal line back.
okay.
You know?
Hey, if he gets it done, like I'm not mad at it.
It does, but like how many running backs could do what he like with the opportunities he got?
I mean,
Could also punch it in
is
from the
that
5?
not the Cup argument? Is that
Cup, I mean, there's a little bit of a different, like, no one was talking about it. Cup won Offensive Player of the Year, and you said that it might be the best season you've ever seen in your life.
yeah.
You know,
I mean, yeah. I mean, I can't think of any. Like, I wasn't like alive. I mean, like I was alive. I wasn't like heavily watching football when Tom Brady threw, or when Tom Brady went, 18-0 or whatever.
Eckler had the third most scrimmage yards last year. Here's the thing: I don't really give a shit about receiving for running backs. Like, if you're a good receiving running back, I do not care that much. You know, like receiving yards for running back, like catching like dump offs and screens is not that hard. And then you just have the ball in space and can make guys miss. Like,
Yeah.
I just think a lot of running backs can do it. I just think some quarterbacks and some offenses just don't design it as much as like others. I don't think it creates as much value as people think it does. And I think PPR has really been like, oh, it's equal. It's 50-50. You know, I really don't like running in between the tackles to me
It's
matters so
harder.
much more. Matters so much more to the running back position than like catching a check down in space. I'm sorry.
That's why Nick Chubb's the best back in football, man.
I agree. Rashawn
Rashawn
Slater at
Slater.
79 is
Wait,
good.
I think that's too low. I think that's a
Yeah,
little too low.
he was really good. Um, yeah, I don't. I could see the. I had him around here.
I had him at 59. I think he was like legit, like him.
He was. I can't remember who were the pass rushers in the division. Broncos
I
didn't have
guess
any good
that's
ones.
fair.
Chiefs didn't have any good ones. Chargers. Wait,
I mean,
he is the Chargers.
you could argue like Jones, but Jones is lining up
Yeah,
inside most of the time.
Chris Jones. Yeah, he didn't.
Yeah.
He didn't face, and he didn't even face Max Crosby because Max Crosby would always line up on Storm Norton and just fucking kill Norton instead of lining up on Slater. He ducked Max Crosby. Max Crosby just lined up on Storm Norton and just killed him. Just killed him.
I mean, that's
like,
what I would do too. Like, why would you?
That's what I would do too. I mean,
Yeah,
I think
it's
that's
like-
what you should do. I think if you
Yeah.
have a versatile defensive lineman, you should find the
Every
worst.
mismatch. Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
that you should
bro.
find
That's what the
worst.
Browns do with Garrett. They just line him up on guards and say, "Go
Yeah,
to town."
or Zadarius Smith for the Packers. They'll just be like, okay, we'll just put him over your or the Rams do this with Donald. They just are like, we're gonna put Donald on your worst lineman,
Yeah.
and he's gonna cook. So
Yeah.
I'm not saying like Max Crosby should have, like a real man stepped up and gone against Slater. Like, just go against, like, get an insta win every time.
Yeah.
Hendrickson at 78. Basing this completely off of last year, this is fine for me.
Yeah. I don't have a problem with it.
I don't have a problem with it. He had a sack in 13 straight games. He's good.
Yeah, he was really good. Darius
Slay at 77.
too low.
Don't hate that either.
Way too low. Big play Slay, man. That man is always around the football. That man is always around the football. Find any defensive play where he isn't. Find a defensive play for me where he's not around the football.
Yeah, I could see him even ranked higher based on just what he did last year. Yeah, I like it. Alvin Kamara is that guy though. Yeah,
centerpieces for a defense. That's Darius Slay.
Alvin Kamara is that guy. Like, he's a receiving back, but like, he is also perhaps the best, like, contact balance running back, tackle breaking running back in the league. Like, he's elite vision, elite contact balance. He's amazing running between the tackle. Like, he's a much more talented runner to me than a guy like Eckler. So yeah.
What you want to see in running backs is like a really good running back when he's like making people miss. He should not look like he's trying. It should look easy. If it looks easy, that's because it is.
Brian Burns at 76. I would move him down a little bit lower. I don't think that he's like a great run defender, and he doesn't have many elements of power in his game, but he's a disruptive pass rusher.
I didn't put him on my list.
How many sacks did he have?
I can check for you real quick. Sacks. Burns. 9.
He's got a ghost technique, and he's got legit bend around the edge and a spin move that's really good. Like, he's a great speed rusher. He really is.
He had 9 sacks, 31 pressures.
Yeah, see, like, 9 sacks is not, when you consider that he's not the best run defender, like, 9 sacks is not enough for me to say, like, oh yeah, he's better than some of these other guys on the list. I'd rank him lower. I would rank him lower.
8 QB knockdowns. So, like, that's 17 total QB hits. I don't know. Nothing to call home about.
Antoine Winfield Jr. He's all right. I honestly don't know that much about him, to be honest with you.
This was the only time I consulted like fans, as I tweeted out. I was like, Bucks fans, what are your thoughts on Antoine Winfield? Because I was bordering on putting him. I was about to put him at number 100. I was like, I'll give him a little bit of respect. But Bucks fans were like, no, do not. He is not that good. And I was like, okay.
I mean, I think that he's a nice player and all. I haven't really studied him. I definitely don't think of him, and he doesn't pop off the screen to me the same way that like someone like Minkah Fitzpatrick does, or someone like the Bills do. It doesn't feel to me like he should be this high, but I recognize that he's good. He is a good player.
No, he's a good. I wanted to put him.
I don't know. I would put him lower, but I guess I don't know enough. This is one where I'm kind of like I could see it going either way.
He did get just literally ran by Cooper Kupp to get torched in the in the divisional round.
That did happen, didn't it?
Yeah, that was Antoine Winfield. They got burnt on that play.
Well, yeah.
So
that's not ideal, but yeah, I don't know. I would rank him a little lower than that. I definitely would, but I'm willing to listen to an argument if anyone is like really passionate that he deserves that spot.
Demario Davis, him.
Yeah, he's insane. I don't know why he would have dropped 10 spots when he was quite good, just as good as was the year before last year. Yeah, Demario is really good. I don't think this ranking for him. I'm not mad at it.
Yeah, I mean, I had him at 70, which is like right in between last year and this year for the NFLs. But I mean, I think he's
a total thumper. He's one of the strongest and most powerful linebackers in the league. He really is. And on top of that, he's nice in coverage. He's really good. He can do so much. I mean, I think I have a clip of him just like literally just like throwing offensive linemen out of the way. Yeah, he's amazing. I mean, if you look at what he's done the last 3 years, it's been first team All-Pro, second team All-Pro, second team All-Pro. And last year, as an elite run defender, elite coverage guy. I honestly would rank him a little bit higher than this. I love him. Um, he's registered 30 quarterback hits in the last 3 years, 34 tackles for loss. Um, yeah.
Yeah. No, he's bro. Yeah, this play against Seattle where he just runs over 61.
Yeah, 24 passes defensed. I mean, he's the whole package at linebacker. He's someone I would build my hypothetical ship around over. He's just kind of my style of linebacker. I love guys like that. Leo Chanel reminded me a little bit of him, and I ranked him as the number one guy. I just love linebackers just like him. That's like my ideal linebacker right there, Demario Davis.
Not a bad.
Not that he's the best one, because Fred Warner is the best one, but
Fred Warner's him.
Cordero Patterson.
I'm gonna keep it a stack with you. I don't think he belongs on this list.
Yeah, I mean he was a nice weapon for them last year, but like, is he an elite running back in the league?
Like, okay, let me. When Terrell
I guess
Pryor,
you could say, if you wanted to make the argument that he's the best kick returner, and if I'm gonna have Justin Tucker, especially if I'm gonna respect special teams, I have to have Cordero Patterson up there.
But we've already talked about, like, kick returners are guys who aren't good enough to be a real skill position player. Cordero Patterson,
he is.
Cordero Patterson is like, to me, when Terrell Pryor was the best receiver in Cleveland. that's where I stand. I'm like, yeah, you had a good year, but like, are you a good receiver or a good running back? Like,
73 is a little high too. Like, if you think he should be on the list, okay, sure, but like, he's someone that should be like number 100, if so. To have him ahead of, like,
I would take that. I would be okay with that.
He should definitely be lower.
Like, put him in use check tier, and I'm cool. But like,
yeah, I feel similarly about those guys. Quandre at 72 is a great ranking for him. I think that might be like exactly where I had him. He's a great player. I had him at 84 actually. I had him a little bit lower than this.
Quandre is really good. I kind of think Seattle might be kind of good this year. Like, I'm kind of leaning towards, like, they might be a solid team. I don't know. I was originally thinking, like, that's like a 4-win team.
Yeah, they'll have to clean up some stuff like that we've seen in preseason, because they've been kind of a mess. A lot of missed tackles, a lot of penalties.
Yeah.
I think they're gonna have a really good rushing attack. I think they've averaged like 6 yards per carry.
I think that, like, they might have the best backfield. Like, just
UC division.
It's bro. I'm telling you, those running backs are nice. Who's number 20? Nice. Who's number 20? Who was running for them in the preseason? It was like 25.
That's Travis
Homer, bro. He was cooking.
He had some sick moves. He was
cooking, bro. They might have the best backfield in football. They got some.
They're really good. I mean, they were an elite rushing team in the back half of last year, and overall last year. I mean, if you go look at yards per carry, total yard. I mean, they were killing teams in the run game last year. They had such an underrated rushing attack. But this is about Quandre Diggs.
Yeah, Rashad Penny I just wanted to get that off about Seattle. I'm like, Seattle's going to be underrated this year.
Yeah, Quandre Diggs. I mean, they use their safeties in very specific ways. They've got Jamal Adams as the box safety, Quandre Diggs up top. Yeah, really rangy, ball hawk. Cleans up a lot of people's messes. He's just a really solid player. I don't mind him at 72 at all.
No, Quandre Diggs is a good player. Jason Kelsey, another good player here. Jason Kelsey's been so good for so long, man. God, how old is he? He's got to be like
35 or something.
Yeah, 36. Like that dude is ancient. He has been good like every single year.
I had him at 66, so about in this range. Yeah, still an elite center. Still probably the best center in the league.
Seahawks also have the worst QB room in the league. I don't think the worst.
They might have the worst. They might have the worst, but the thing is, here's the thing about them. I think that Geno and that offense, like running that Ram style offense, I think that Geno's floor is a little higher than people think. That's kind of what my
I
take on
thought
Geno
Geno
is.
looked good in the like
He
legit
did.
good.
He
Like there
he
were just a
legitimately
lot of
did look nice.
drops.
Yeah, he has looked nice in the preseason. I think that like at the end of the day, because we're gonna see Geno start, I
Yeah,
don't think they're just gonna have this like bottom of the barrel passing attack. Geno had the same passer rating as Russell Wilson last year at 103. He didn't look that horribly bad. Um, so yeah, I think that like on paper it might be the least inspiring quarterback unit in the league because someone like the Jets, they've got Zach Wilson who could blossom into a great player, or
right.
Fields could blossom into a great player. You've got guys around the league that have more potential, but I think at the end of the day, there's going to be some guys who don't reach that potential, and they'll be worse than Geno Smith next year.
Yeah, like would
But
you rather have Geno Smith or Marcus Mariota? I think I'd rather have Geno.
it's about the same. It's
I
about
think
the same.
I think I'd rather have Geno.
I might
But
rather have Geno. I have no idea though.
all
I
right,
feel about the same thing.
Tyrann Mathieu at 70. I do not think I feel good about that.
He is an interesting guy. I think that he's still a good player. I did a whole film review on him, and my takeaway was tackling took a pretty big hit last year. He didn't really want to tackle, but like he's still a
It's business
versatile
decisions.
coverage guy. I mean, he's a good coverage guy.
Yeah.
He's a good coverage safety. I think that I'm not mad that he's on the list. I think Chiefs fans after he left really, and even me, I kind of fed into this a little bit that his tackling really wasn't great last year. But I think PFF did him a little dirty. I think that he's still a nice cover guy. 70's a bit high, I agree.
It's a bit high.
But yeah, he's a
you're
versatile
getting
player.
into
He's a good
like,
coverage. He's a good. I still think he's a good box safety. I still feel good about him as a slot corner. I still feel good about him as a free
but
safety.
like I'm taking
So
Simmons, I'm taking Diggs, I'm taking any of the Bills, whether it be Hyde or
Diggs.
Poyer, Quandre,
Oh,
Diggs.
Quandre. Yeah, yeah. I think
Like
that he's not better. I don't think he's better than Justin Simmons at this point. But
it is what it is.
no, he's better than
He'll,
Bobby Wagner. He's better
he'll,
than Bobby Wagner. Bobby Wagner has lost a step athletically, and Tyrann Mathieu is
yeah.
not. That's kind of my take on that. Like
That's yeah.
Bobby is
Yeah, you're right with the
legitimately
Bobby Wagner stuff.
slow and old and like clearly like not the athlete he used to be. Like he's fallen off a cliff athletically.
Who was the Seahawks analyst that we talked to?
Griff said
yeah.
it. Griff
He literally said the same thing. He's like,
and well, I wasn't even watching Bobby Wagner like because the Seahawks were pretty bad. I wasn't even watching him. And when he said like Bobby Wagner is really like donezo, like he is so bad now. I was like, wow, is he really that bad? Like I didn't.
Yeah.
And then I went and looked at it. I'm like, oh my god, like he looks so slow out there.
Well, and
Tyrann,
he's said that like it's been coming, right? And it like he had been to a point where like he was still good enough that he could like sit in coverage and make plays, but now he's to the point where like if something goes over his head, like it's gone.
you can't
Right.
have him turn his hips. That's the thing.
No, yeah.
Like Bobby Wagner is legit not good. Yeah, like Bobby Wagner is not someone that you trust. Any play where he has to open his hips and run, he's just not going to be
Yeah.
making that play, dude. Like he's smart and he can play downhill.
Right.
And he got a lot of tackles last year because Al Woods and Puna Ford are actually legit defensive tackles who are good run stuffers, and he would kind of pile on or take advantage of the chaos others created. But like Bobby Wagner's not in it, and we'll get into that because he's number 29. What time is it? How
it is?
Have we been doing this for an hour?
It's 5:11.
Have we already been doing this for an hour?
Yeah.
Wow. Okay, we're at 70. Okay, we're gonna say good or bad. That's it. Cameron
right.
Jordan, fine. I'd put him a little lower.
I like Cam Jordan. Like I don't have a problem with it. Like too much of a problem with it, I guess.
I don't have a problem with this either. Pretty good.
I would lean whatchamacallit.
Zach Martin 68 is embarrassingly low for the players. He's in my opinion the best guard in the league.
They just said roadblock. How are you gonna call him a roadblock but put him at 67 or 68? Come on.
Baker at 67. I thought he lost. I thought he looked a little slow last year, but I'd put him a little bit lower, but I'm not
Yeah,
mad he's on the list.
Baker's a good player, but yeah, I don't, not this high.
Buckner 66. He dropped 39 spots. I'd put him out higher.
I think that's probably about right. I don't know.
Carr 65.
That's right. I think that's about
lower.
where I think that's about where I had Carr. I don't have a problem with it.
If Carr was the same caliber of player that he is, but not a quarterback, like if
I had Carr at 66. I had Carr at 66.
Like a Derek Carr tier wide receiver, I don't think he'd be on the list. If that makes sense. I think this is a little bit of quarterback tax. Devin White, people hate on Devin White, but I thought he was pretty good these last 2 years. Like 2 years ago, he's really bad. Here's the thing: people love Darius Leonard, and they don't like Devin White. And I think that's like not. Devin White is a much better athlete, but like they're both pretty high level run defenders who are a little questionable in coverage. And everyone loves Darius Leonard. Everybody hates Devin White. It's like they're not that different in terms of caliber.
Yeah, I mean, that's probably not a bad take, honestly.
Waddle 63, I do not understand.
That seems really high to me.
It seems really high to me. Like, I guess that he got a lot of receptions last year, but I don't know about 63.
He wasn't like, okay, I think like if you're going to be that high as a rookie, you have to be like game changing. And that's like why Jamar Chase was so high for me. Was I'm like, that dude changed the offense.
Waddle has a ton of potential though, and I almost wonder if people are gonna like, because Hill's got all the attention. Waddle could be one of the best wide receivers in the league pretty soon.
No, he could.
If he didn't have Tua, like Waddle is super good.
If he didn't have Tua.
63 is a little bit high, but honestly, I think that could age well. I think we could be looking at that in a couple years and being like, oh yeah, Waddle's like the 15th best player in the league. So I think it could age well. But I think
when Lamar is in Miami next year, then it'll age really well.
Right. Chandler Jones at 62. Don't hate it. People gets a little bit too much slander.
He does. I posted Chandler Jones pretty high on mine. He was like, well, he's like the first game of the season merchant, and I'm like, he's still a good player.
He still finished with over 50.
Right? Like what?
Yeah. It's a little true. Like
I had him at 78. So I had him a little bit lower than this.
If he missed that first game, the rest of the year would be like a little underwhelming by his standards. But like he still basically won a game by himself, and then the rest of the year still had like
I mean, how many edge rushers are doing that?
Double-digit sacks and 40 pressures.
You can't be mad at that.
I don't know. Russ at 61. I think that's fair.
Yes.
Considering we haven't seen like crazy.
I had Russ at 72.
Where did I have Russ? I had him at 70 exactly. So
okay,
pretty much.
Yes.
Corey Linsley. I think it's a bit high for him. He's good,
though. That might be a little bit high. I had him in like 82. So like,
I think he's the third best center. I think Ragnow, Kelsey, then Linsley. That's how I'd rank him.
Okay.
Crosby 59. That's pretty good.
Yeah, I like Crosby.
Waller at 58. I actually think that's pretty high considering what he did last year.
No, yeah, considering what he did, I like as a player. Yeah, but like if we're just going off last year, I don't.
Kyler, good.
Yeah.
Xavier. I think that's too low for Xavier.
Yes.
Bitonio.
Too low.
A bit low, yeah. Simmons, that's pretty good.
Yeah.
Mike Evans, that's pretty good to me.
I think that's a little low for Mike Evans. I like him a lot. I think he's that man.
I had him at like 51.
I don't know. I think he gets like kind of slept on for like his route running. That man creates a lot of separation, and then even when he doesn't, he just catches it anyway. I don't know. I like him a lot. Matt Judon. I love Matt Judon. That's too high. I think that's too high. As like a bona fide Matt Judon fan, he was.
Yeah, that's a little high.
He's an effort guy. Like he's got the energy going, but I don't know.
He does. Kamara 51. I think that's too low. But anyway, We've been doing this for an hour. I wonder, like, and the full list isn't released yet. So I wonder if we could do react to 50 through
We could,
one on the
yeah,
next
on the
one.
next one. Yeah, with Matt.
Yeah.
Okay, that's not a bad idea. So we could probably wrap things up at this point.
All right. Well,
Appreciate
thank you all
y'all
so much for, yeah,
tuning
you
in.
can close this out.
No, Theo, go ahead.
Thank you all so much for watching this Stay Hot live stream. I do actually, as much as we just picked apart that list, I must say that I do enjoy that they make that list every year, and I like the content, and I wish every league were to do things like this. So it's impossible to make a list like this correct. And overall, there's several, there's more picks than not. I think are fine. There's just a couple weird ones that make you raise an eyebrow. But anyway, thank you so much for watching, and we will see you for a live stream next week. Watch my YouTube video coming out on grading the rookie tackles on their preseason performance so far, which should release maybe tonight.
We'll catch you on the flippity flop.
And that.